Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. Welcome to the Brother Henry and You Show. I am your host, Henry Harris. We have an exciting program for you today. And today we want to talk about dealing with rejection from family. Dealing with rejection from family. We know that we all, in some capacity, have experienced rejection from different people in life. Many of us have been there. But I think it's another thing when it comes to people who you are very familiar with, people who you are close to. How do we handle that? How do we cope with that? And that's what I want to talk about today on the show. Every person has a desire to be loved, affirmed, and accepted. But we know that this is not always reality. At least for many of us, it's not our reality. Many of our realities are quite the opposite. We're not experiencing that love and that acceptance and that affirmation that we all so long for. So we deal with rejection. It is obvious that rejection can come from friends. We know that rejection can come from acquaintances. It can come from a wife or a husband, or it can come from a co-worker, or even just people in general. It hurts no matter where it comes from. But there's a different type of hurt when it comes from those who are very close to you, many of whom we would like to call family. It has been said that blood is thicker than water. Have you heard that statement before? Indicating that no matter what happens, family will never betray you. Family will never cause pain in your life. Family will never hurt you. Family will never walk away. Family will never reject you. For many of us, this is not our reality. We have to understand that many people have been rejected by family. And much of it is traced back even to their childhood. So it ain't like they became an adult and all of a sudden their family's rejecting them. Many people have experienced rejection all the way back to their childhood. And sadly, many people have even normalized it because it's what they've always known. Mom, dad rejected me when I was a child, so now that I'm an adult, it doesn't even faze me that they reject me because it goes back to my childhood. They rejected me then. That rejection is still there. Their rejection still hasn't been dealt with. So what makes you think it's going to disappear overnight? Or what makes you think that this is something that just came up from the horizon? It didn't. For many people, it was always there. For many people, this goes all the way back to their childhood. It's one thing to be rejected by others, but family? How is it that the very thing that's close to you or the closest to you can reject you and hurt you? Blood is thicker than water. I don't know if that line resonates with those who are dealing with rejection from family right now. Rejection from family does hurt. It's an unimaginable pain, but the good news is that you don't have to allow the rejection that family have done towards you to stop you or stop your progress. You can move on with your life and live again. As many of us know, rejection is heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking, but you have to embrace it, meaning it is what it is, and connect with those people who will love you for who you are and not for what they think you should be. This is called unconditional love, unconditional affirmation, unconditional acceptance. Not necessarily looking for it in family and in friends and in co-workers or acquaintances. That's good that they do that, but affirming and accepting and loving yourself so that when rejection does come, we don't deny those feelings of hurt and pain. We don't bury that. We don't pretend like it's not there, but we're at a position in our life that we have experienced it so much that we're to the place where whether you accept me or not, I'm okay with me. Well, a family walk out of your life or not, I'm okay with me. Keep in mind that in the midst of your rejection, your objective is to be unapologetically you. Don't change because of them. Let them reject you. Let them do what they want to do. Let them reject you. Let them dismiss you. And just as sure as someone has rejected you today, I'm here to encourage you that just as sure as someone rejected you, there is someone who will accept you. Just as sure as you have that family member that just hates your guts for no reason whatsoever, there is someone out there that will love you. Being rejected by your family, and I know this from experience, it causes a lot of damage, not just mentally, but even psychologically. It messes with you up here. It makes us angry. It makes us upset, and sometimes even destroys our self-esteem. This is a horrible position to be in. You feel alone and you feel isolated. You feel like you're in the wilderness by myself. Blood is thicker than water. When I found myself being rejected by family, I had to create space between feeling upset by the rejection I had experienced from family and letting it go. What do I do in those situations? When my family has rejected me, the very thing that's close to me, what do I do in those situations? Do I hang on to being upset and resentment and pain and hurt? Do I hang on to what they did to me? Or do I have to have the courage to simply just let it go? This is when I had to walk away from their rejection and I started to discover new ways and new insight to living a more fulfilled life in the absence of their rejection. Your situation may be messy. It may be complicated. But I'm here today to tell you that you will survive. You may be watching me right now. Mama rejected me, grandma rejected me, and rejection can come for many reasons. You know why they rejected you. And it's wrong no matter for what reason they reject. You know why. Yes, it's messy. It's messed up, as what many of us would say. But you will survive. It's not the first time you've experienced rejection from family, and I'm sure it will not be the last time. Many who say they are your family really aren't. Many people who say in your family, I got your back, really don't got your back. We should never allow rejection of family members or anyone to define who you are. Why? Because you are enough. You are simply enough. Oh, Brother Henry, you know, that sounds really great. Great message. But how do I cope with it? How do I deal with being rejected by family? Henry, it hurts. What do I do? I'm glad you asked. Number one, you have to realize and put this in your spirit and in your heart that you're not defined by their rejection. Number two, take time to process it. Many times when people on the outside rejects us, it don't hurt us as much, even though it does display some hurt. But sometimes when it's family that rejects us, sometimes it takes a little time to process that, or in so many ways it's a hard pill to swallow because it's family. Number three, learn from taking risks. Sometimes we have to take a risk. Number 4, surround yourself with people who have similar experiences of being rejected by their family. There are so many other people that have been rejected by their family, that have been pushed off or walked away or dismissed, don't have nothing to do with you. Number 5, realize that it's not the end of the world. Number 6, much rejection comes from people who don't even like themselves or accept themselves. If a person do not love themselves, if a person do not like themselves, if a person do not affirm who they are, their rejection towards you, whether it's family or whoever, should be considered irrelevant. Because how do you expect them to accept you when they don't accept themselves? Of course they're going to reject you because they have rejected themselves. So don't get too upset by it, because just keep that in mind. This is not always the case, but oftentimes people who reject other people have rejected themselves and don't accept who they are. Rejection in so many ways have made me resilient and strong. It has helped me to grow and to develop. When a family member cuts you out, when a family member dismisses you, let it be. Yes, we acknowledge the pain, we acknowledge the hurt that comes from it, we process it, but we do not lose sleep over it. We often look outside at friends and we put a lot of emphasis on enemies to reject us, but keep in mind, rejection can come from within your own home. Rejection can come from within your own household. If you recall in scriptures, Joseph at that particular time, did not experience rejection from those who were on the outside. Rather, it was his own brothers, family, who sold him into slavery. So sometimes it's not always somebody out there that's rejecting us. And that's what we always do. We look at people on the outside. They're rejecting me. My job rejected me. My husband, my wife rejected me. My friend Sally rejected me. We look at all this rejection on the outside, but don't even realize that there's people within. The people that are closest to you are the ones that you have to watch. Because oftentimes they're the ones that will reject you. I am convinced that just like Joseph, when he was rejected, he came out on top. He came out victorious, and I'm convinced today that you can do the same. So keep in mind, rejection hurts. Don't deny those emotions. I understand that you're upset. I understand that you're angry. But you have to make that decision as I did. Do I continue to stay stuck here and defined by how they're rejecting me in my family? Or do I have the courage to develop a strategy and a plan to live a more fulfilled life?
We hope you have enjoyed today's program. We want to connect with you. Visit us at facebook.com/The Brother Henry and You Show, or visit us on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Henry Harris 100. We're so grateful you tuned in today and hope you have a fantastic day.